Hi everyone, it's Rumi and Sanjay from Jet Setting with Us.
Bryce Canyon National Park is like nowhere else on Earth. It's a forest of orange spires, deep amphitheaters, and sculpted stone that glow like the sunrise. In this video today, we're going to take you along the Scenic Drive within Bryce Canyon National Park, and then also down into the canyon on the Navajo Loop Trail.
Whether you're planning a one-day visit or you're just curious to see what it's like beyond the photos, this is Bryce Canyon from rim to the valley floor.
If you love national parks, be sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel so you won't miss our next adventure. With that being said, let's dive into Bryce Canyon.
Bryce Canyon sits high on the Ponderosa Plateau in southern Utah, about 2 hours from Zion National Park and 4 hours from Las Vegas. Most visitors fly into Las Vegas or Salt Lake City, then make Bryce part of a longer Utah road trip. The park itself is compact. One main road runs 18 miles from the visitor center to Rainbow Point, with scenic overlooks all along the rim.
We started by going all the way to the end of the Scenic Drive first at Rainbow Point and then worked our way backward to the visitor center. In terms of lodging, the best place would be Bryce Canyon City, or if you want to stay within the park, there's a Bryce Canyon Lodge. For us, we actually stayed a little bit farther away near St. George, Utah, as we were seeing a number of different state parks as well, in addition to Zion and Bryce.
Even the drive-in feels so special. You start out with a drive through a pine forest, and then the trees open up and reveal those beautiful glowing orange cliffs that make Bryce Canyon so unique.
I might have dropped the ball. I was asleep during the drive-in, so unfortunately I don't have any footage of that for us. Bryce Canyon's main road runs like a ridge. Each overlook offers a slightly different perspective on the same incredible landscape. At the end, Rainbow Point sits at approximately 9,100 feet of elevation, the highest in the park. From up here, you can see almost the entire Bryce Amphitheater, and on a clear day, all the way down toward the grand staircase.
Heading back north, the first few stops, Birch Canyon and Ponderosa Point, are quieter and framed by forest. The hoodoos start to peek out through the trees.
At Agua Canyon, you start to see Bryce's trademark formations up close. Those slender rock spires are called hoodoos, created by freeze-thaw erosion over millions of years.
A little further up is natural Birch, one of the park's most photographed spots, a massive arch carved naturally from the red sandstone.
From Farview Point, the name says it all. You can see deep into the grand staircase region, a landscape of layered mesas and cliffs that stretch all the way into Arizona.
Finally, at Swamp Canyon, the scene narrows again, a lush pocket of green below the orange cliffs. It's a reminder that even in this high desert, life finds small places to thrive.
The heart of Bryce Canyon is the Bryce Amphitheater, a natural bowl filled with thousands of hoodoos stacked like a stone forest. The best views are from Sunrise Point and Sunset Point, just a short drive or even a short hike from each other.
At Sunset Point, you're right above the densest cluster formations. It's where the light hits perfectly in late afternoon, and it's also the trailhead for the famous Navajo Loop.
If you have time, it's worth walking between Sunset and Sunrise Points. It's a short, easy section with ever-changing views of the canyon below. Morning and evening both bring completely different colors to the rock. From here, we started our hike into the canyon itself, down into the Navajo Loop Trail through the famous Wall Street section.
The Navajo Loop Trail is one of Bryce Canyon's most famous short hikes. It's just over 1.5 miles long and drops you more than 500 feet deep into the heart of the amphitheater.
We began with the Two Bridges route, a steep but steady descent surrounded by towering hoodoos. This section gets its name from two natural rock spans connecting the canyon walls high above. Easy to miss unless you look up.
From there, we loop back up through the Wall Street side, a twisting, narrow passage between sheer orange cliffs. This is easily the most famous part of the trail. Sunlight pouring down the rock walls, and a few pine trees somehow growing straight out of the canyon floor.
The climb is short but steep, especially at this altitude. Definitely take breaks and look back often. The view behind you might be even better than the one in front of you.
Coming back up through Wall Street felt like the perfect finale, a last reminder of how surreal Bryce Canyon really is. Before you start planning your trip to Bryce Canyon, here are our pro tips to making the most of your visit. Number 1, this park sits at over 8,000 feet of elevation above sea level. The air is thinner here. Short hikes can feel more strenuous than they look because the air is so thin. Be sure to take lots of breaks. I remember my first trip to Bryce Canyon, a friend of mine decided to run up the Wall Street switchbacks, and she was winded within 2 switchbacks. My second trip to Bryce Canyon, my friend and I did Navajo Loop Trail again, but this time I made it a rule. 50 steps up those switchbacks, we take a break. It made a huge difference during that entire hike to make sure I wasn't winded at all by the end.
Second, and related to the altitude, it is substantially cooler in Bryce Canyon than it is in other parts of Utah, like Zion National Park. So just bring some layers in your car. You might find it useful, especially if you do some of the hikes.
And third, give yourself a full day at this park if you can. Even though the park is small, the views can change drastically depending on the time of day you're there and where you're standing in the park. Also, this park is known for stargazing opportunities. So if you have some time flexibility, definitely consider an overnight for that unique experience.
So here's our overall opinion of Bryce Canyon National Park. I used to wonder why all my European friends loved the idea of coming to the US and doing a road trip around the Southwest. This is before I really discovered how incredible the landscapes in the Southwest really are. Even within those, Bryce Canyon has a super unique landscape with the hoodoos. So if you have the opportunity to go to Bryce, I would highly recommend you make the trip out. And best of all, it's really only a one-day trip. You can drive a couple hours from St. George or from Las Vegas, see the park in one day, and even make it back. So it's not a huge lift, but that also means you get to go to other places like Zion National Park or some of the state parks in the region as well. We also appreciated just how much less crowded Bryce Canyon National Park was compared to Zion.
If you enjoy national park travel, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. It really helps us to grow our channel and keeps us motivated to keep creating more content for you. That's a wrap for today. We look forward to seeing you on our next adventure. Bye for now.